Brandon. Welcome back.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
Oh, it's like you're the essence of me in the opposite universe. Not an opposite universe, but a parallel universe.
I like
Follow the money green.
I like it. I was here yesterday in that chair. Yeah. I kept looking down. Like, it's still kind of warm. Like he was in there just a second ago.
Well, if it was my chair, it would be hot.
There we go. Well, lukewarm.
Yeah.
A whole day had gone by.
So so follow the money. I've been watching your show lately because it's interesting that you guys have a lot of people on your show who I'm thinking about. I want to get on my show, and it's like, for example, you had Penny Green from what was the company called?
High Yield Growth Corp.
High Yield Growth Corp.
I always mess that one up though. It might be the Yield.
And so me being me, I bought a whack of stock and then said, okay, now let's go figure out what this company's about.
Yeah.
And so that's one of these stocks that went from 20 cents to 47 cents, a newcomer into the cannabis universe. What was your takeaway from your conversation with her?
Yeah, it was really interesting because a lot of her focus is on topicals and creams and that other aspect of cannabis that we are talking about, but not overly. So it's interesting that she has experience in that. Apparently, I was looking at her bio actually. It had been in almost 100 go public companies over her career. So there's quite a few in there. But spoken about her products and what she's bringing, there was like muscle relaxants and different types of CBD creams.
Quaaludes?
Quaaludes. I don't know if they make those. I don't know if they make those anymore.
I don't think they make them.
But they're still there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody makes them. They are too good not to make. Anyways,
but it'll be interesting because she's already started unveiling some of those products, and I think that's going to be a massive market because there's so much behind. I've said it a few times on this show, like on our FTMIG, but also with you. When you put CBD oil into these creams, you're now making them vegan. Because that's where you're getting your omega acid, omega-3, omega-6, etc., instead of going through fish oils. I think it's going to be a huge phase. Or even a phase that's just going to be a trend.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. So I don't know about that crazy share price, how fast that went up, but we'll see really quickly.
Seems to be pretty stable here at 48.
I just lost my laptop.
I know, eh? Took it away from you, just like that. Boy, somebody swiped a sandwich out of the fridge in our lunchroom the other day. Yeah, but they don't realize that we have a camera in there.
Ooh.
So they're about to get busted for grand theft sandwich.
Yeah, what type of sandwich was it though?
I don't know. We'd have to talk to Mark in the control room, because otherwise known as God. It was a ham and cheese.
Oh.
What kind of cheese?
Provolone.
Irish cheese.
It's Irish.
Oh no, that's right. He told me, but the real offense was that it had this Irish relish on it. Anyways, we digress horribly.
So funny enough, you were just talking about this, and if I had my laptop, I'd bring it up on the NDI, but it was stolen from me.
What would you bring up?
But it's really interesting that we were talking about these stocks and their runs. I don't know how to work a Mac. I'm sorry, guys. I'm an Android. I'm an Android guy.
Android, not even Microsoft.
But for anybody who can pull up your charts right now, I was looking at AUSA and Even Co. AUSA, the ticker.
Okay, let me pull this up.
The reason
we'll see if we can
my
get
laptop came back. The reason I bring it up though is because there's a clear trend, and we were talking about it earlier about these stocks running, and nobody fully understands why. And that's not a bad thing. It's just more so people are curious. So let's see if I can pull up this really quickly and get my NDI working, because it shut off my computer. But if you pull up the chart of AUSA first, which I'm really quickly going to do here, because it's almost like the exact same chart.
AUSA, CNX.
AUSA, CNX. And I've got here in a second to the control room because I'm just rebooting everything. Apparently, every time I come to the show, every time we have a segment and we start, my computer shuts off.
Really?
Yeah, that's
that's funny.
That's 2
There's
weeks in a
something
row
going
now.
on here, because every time we sit down here, my NDI goes for a shite. Yep. And like, for example, I have Australis chart up right now, but my NDI, I guess, isn't working because we don't see it up there.
So if you can see my computer, we like to have fun here. That's why we do things live.
Oh, look, we got yours up.
Hey, although that's still weed. 1 second here. I'm putting a cash tag because I'm so used to Twitter. CNX. So I'm going to come back to Canopy. Let's go to 6 month trend. So put up my screen here. If you look at these runs, the low here, this is only about, this is back in December 27th. The low was 63 cents. Then what you see the PPO is at the very bottom of my screen. You'll see a PPO. It's that last little part there. You'll see that blue line, the trigger going over, is just crossing over zero. You see a little bit of a volume spike here. Look at right here. This is what I want to point out. This is a Bollinger Band squeeze. When you see this come in really tight, and it blew past and closed above the Bollinger Band, and there was a little bit of volume to go with that. From the lower end, this was on the 27th at 63 cents, to the high at $1.46. That's almost 100%. That's over 100% move in a matter of a week or two. Now look at that one. Keep that in your mind, and then watch Evenco. Now Evenco had a kind of a reason. They had their license amendment go through, and they started shipping product. But nonetheless, here's the exact same thing again. The PPO is crossing. It's just going over zero. You get a little bit of a spike in volume right here. If you go back to my NDI, and it blew through the Bollinger Bands again, and now it's walking up the Bollinger Bands. From the low here on December 28th, it's 22 cents, to the high of 40 cents. That's almost another 100% gain. The reason I bring that up though, this is on Monday and Tuesday that you saw the really big gains on these two stocks. Now look at what we did today. Look what used to be $8 billion company, which is now a $5 billion company, or $15 billion company. Look at almost the exact same thing, but 2 days late. This happened on Wednesday and today. The PPO cross is just going over zero. You've got your volume spikes, these last two bars on the right-hand side if you're looking at the screen. And then look at this bar go right through the 200-day standard moving average, the 50-day, breaks through the Bollinger Bands, and look what this day we've had today, right on here where this is over right now. Huge day, huge.
So now it's outside the Bollinger Bands, and the RSI is way up. I say that it's about to go down.
I think all of these, the other two are already cooled down. I think this one might go another one day to tomorrow, but it just moved. It went from $8 billion market cap to $15 billion in about a week.
Yeah.
Not even a few days.
I say that stock goes down.
Yeah.
I'm going to go short.
Which one?
You're going to go short
Canopy.
on it.
Yeah.
Which one?
Canopy.
James, break out the
It's
balls here,
outside the
folks.
Bollinger Bands, and the RSI is up near 80.
Yeah.
It's had an unbelievable move.
It really has. And that's what people are looking at in our traders chat room, in our Discord chats. People are doing, like, honestly, play-by-play action of what's going on the 1 minute chart, the 5 minute chart. It's hilarious. People are making money finally. To all the traders out there, good on you. You're making your bread and butter that you all lost last year.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm in that crowd. I can't help myself. I must day trade, even though I really shouldn't. No, this market is educating me.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and that was from Johnny Mack, actually, the guy we bring on hopefully every Wednesday, who goes over the charts that people vote on in our group. He was teaching, because I'm just learning the TA side of things. I'm not a specialist in TA. I'm a fundamentalist.
Right.
I love seeing things that stand out, but this is TA breakouts. All three almost look the exact same, and it's just interesting to see wheat as the follower and not the indicator, not the mover.
Right.
So small caps got a little bit of a bounce there.
Right. So what about in the longer term here, like in the next couple of weeks? Is the broader market likely to sort of take the wind out of these early 2019 New Year's party sales, or is this a intact kind of bull market sort of broader trend as a result of bigger money coming in, as per Craig's, or rather Todd's statement about bigger money coming in? We've seen some larger names out there putting research out on the cannabis sector. What's your opinion? Is it going to continue, or is it going to sort of soften up?
Yeah, my gut feeling, like honestly, I want it to continue because, like you said, not only has legal money now started to really come into the sector. You saw Canopy put $80 million into one of those things from Canopy Rivers and incubating that company. That's more money coming in there as well. Or it's not Canopy, I think it was BMO. But you see that the Bank of Canada held rates constant, the Fed held rates constant. We've got some indicators that look nice, but doesn't this just feel like every other time where it's doom and gloom, everyone thinks cannabis is done, and then we get a little bit of run, it keeps going, and then all of a sudden the trigger is the articles that are coming out. The news, the Globe and Mail, Financial Post, they're all saying, we hit our bottom, everything's rosy, everything's fine. It feels like a bull trap. It feels like they're just trying to get retailers to get that last little bit. All the institutions have already been loading up when everyone was screaming that everything was done. I think we see a little bit of a sell. I don't see enough yet. I personally think we're going to have a little bit of pullback. Is it going to be, all of this is going to be gone? I don't think so. I want to see higher lows put in. I want to see some support levels, kept in another leg. I'm not sold yet.
Right.
I'm just not.
Okay, now switching gears a bit. You guys were big time sort of leading canaries on the whole BridgeMark scandal. And what's the status of that? It seems like there's been a bit of, it's starting to get a little bit more feisty over there.
Yeah, so funny that this is a name I hadn't heard before. So I actually have that up as well, the article. I don't know if you just want to put that on one of the back screens or something like that. But the business newspaper in Vancouver came out with another article, and it's stating that they're pushing forward with this investigation. There's a certain name here, and these aren't. We have to always remember, some of these are allegations, other things are facts. But at the end of the day, innocent until proven guilty. Putting it out there. That's why we have a judicial system. But a man named Ali Babu Mawi has been allegedly put in the middle of this BridgeMark scheme, where in Germany, back in 2012, he was sentenced to 38 months in jail for a scheme that had 25.7 million euros, a pump and dump scheme that he was convicted for. So now they're saying that he was a part of this, but what's interesting here is that there's now 26 firms associated with this, according to this, and Prevceuticals. We've had him on the show before, Deventer. Mr. Deventer was on here. And they're now suing them because they're saying that we did not understand who you were. You came in and showed us all this whole persona of someone who's going to help them with marketing and promotion, and they feel they did not do that. Instead, they took these consulting shares, like we've heard in all these other areas, and they unloaded on the stock. And they feel like this is another scheme of that, and they're saying they've been duped. So there's actually a lawsuit out here. What I found really, really interesting, again, the same name comes back again, these are just facts from a newspaper that I'm reading off right now, is Anthony Kevin Jackson is in the story again. So, very interesting that mainstream media is catching a hold of this. Again, this investigation is still going, half of the investigation go through, but this is numerous cases now. 11 different companies are in this, and 26 firms allegedly stating that these consulting shares that they're getting are being used to manipulate the market, manipulate the company, and they're not doing actual consulting services, allegedly, according to this lawsuit. What's going on?
So when you get shares for free as a consultant and you aren't genuinely performing any service for the issuer, then those shares are an invitation to short the stock.
Correct.
Because you're basically being given shares for free to cover your short. So you can short and short and short, and you've got this position against which you can cover until you get called to cover the trade, assuming you don't have a broker who trades naked for you, which is probably one of the most rampant problems in capital markets.
I agree.
So where is this all going to lead? Where is this all going to go? Are all those companies, so it listed, among others, Prevceutical, it listed a whole bunch of companies alongside these promoters, and is it over for all of these guys? Or
no way. No. This is the very tip of an iceberg. We just follow because we, as a community, we're all doing our due diligence and trying to stay on top of these things. There's a lot of, almost the vast majority of the people in our community and follow the money are retail investors. So we're looking out for each other. I don't think this is even remotely close to being done. I think this is actually going to really change the way promotion is done in capital markets, because for the longest time you can get away with it because you could hide it, or it's not as easily accessible. With social media now, when something like this happens, it's all over Twitter, it's all over different chat rooms, it's all over Facebook, it's all over Instagram, YouTube, it's everywhere. I think it's going to change it, but is this done? I don't think so, even remotely. There's some interesting names being attached to this that I didn't even remotely know about before.
Yeah. Okay, but my question is, are the issuers that are caught up in this scandal, is it lights out for them in terms of a future as an investment?
No, I don't think so.
This is just a case of laying down with lions and waking up with fleas?
I think it's a case of some of the management unfortunately didn't do proper due diligence. You'll probably see that in block play. I've actually spoken to people in that company, and they didn't fully understand what they were getting involved in. Other companies, they just did a very good. These were white-collar criminals, allegedly, of course. They're not stupid. They're very smart. So I think some good companies were pulled into this, whereas I think some companies, I think it was from the very beginning, they had no intentions of actually being a real company.
Well, so I guess at the end of the day, it's going to be good news for investors that these guys are cleaned out of the market.
Yep, good news that they're cleaned up, but also good news because now anyone looking to do something, you can do that still. You can still get shares in companies. You can do all those different things, but there's doing it properly and doing it with the company and with good interest for everyone involved, and then there's completely, reckless endangerment with these shares, and I think that's what they're trying to point out here.
Acting contrary to the public interest.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you also had some insight on the Shoppers Drug Mart beginning to sell weed online.
I love that.
And I love that too. I'm a little bit miffed that Shoppers Drug Mart can sell weed online, but Midas Letter can't.
What's going on here?
What is going on? Well, we're gonna lobby our elected officials and see what we can bring to change in that regard. But I just ordered and received delivery of a 4-pod hydroponic growing system, which I'm going to now grow 4 plants in my house that I am going to obtain legally through an LP here in Ontario.
Very nice. Yeah, there's some clones going out.
There are some clones coming.
Who's doing them? THC Biomed is doing clones.
Kronos Groups.
Kronos.
The Peace Naturals facility was offering clones through the medical program. I actually had a conversation with Mike Gorenstein, the CEO, earlier, who wasn't sure whether that program was still running, but we'll find out soon enough if it was.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so Shoppers Drug Mart, what is that going to do for... here's the interesting thing for me. I've acquired product from the Ontario Cannabis store. I've acquired product from the medical regime. In both cases, I find that the companies are precluded by the rules from treating cannabis in a way that is most appropriate for the fact that this is a perishable product with very, very fine sort of terpenes and flavonoids and stuff that are easily damaged by things like irradiation and excessive desiccation, being too dry. So that's what drove me to grow my own, is that, I have not been able to get marijuana at a sufficiently high level of quality from any registered LP in Canada or the United States, for that matter, from either the medical regime or the recreational regime, and that's, I've found, a result of the rules. That they have to, turn out product with these characteristics. So it's not their fault, but that's kind of one of the things where I look at Shoppers Drug Mart and say, now here's an enterprise that, yes, has deep experience in dispensing medicine on a prescription level, but do they have any experience in handling cannabis as a perishable product? And are they going to be able to sidestep the rules that make all of the LPs incapable of delivering cannabis at the highest level of quality because they are not allowed to treat it appropriately as a perishable product? They have to do all these things to it to jump through the Health Canada regulations. So what do you think? Is Shoppers Drug Mart going to cut the grass ultimately of the LPs? Or is Shoppers Drug Mart going to be forever beholden to the LPs who supply them?
Yeah, lots packed in there. First off, I think it's amazing that Shoppers Drug Mart is going through this, because that's such a... We've gone through all these different steps along this legalization process of legitimacy. Legitimacy not only as cannabis should be legal, but legitimacy that cannabis should be a medicine. And Shoppers Drug Mart, when you think of, I'm going to go get my prescription, I'm going to go get cough medicine, I'm going to go see what you think of medical. When it comes to flower, I have no experience dealing with Shoppers or how they're going to deal with that. I just, in the back of my head, I think they're not going to be huge flower sellers. I just don't know why. I don't think they're not going to build the right stores for it, whatever it be. We'll see what happens. They could wow me. I think they're going to be very, very important, though, with cannabis pills, cannabis oils, and different ointments that come out. So when you start getting you'll have cannabinoids, sometimes THC cannabinoids, so it won't be over the counter, and it'll be behind the counter when it comes to pain medication, when that starts coming out.
Or like Epidiolex,
exactly. And was that GW Pharma, I believe? I think that's where Shoppers is going to thrive. And that way, if you have a liquid, there's no difference, or very little difference than storing other liquids that they'll tell you a temperature, and they'll keep it to that temperature. I think that side of things, and not only what it does for Canada, where if you've got people who are, especially the baby boomers, that still look at cannabis sometimes like, oh no, that's reefer madness. But if they can go to Shoppers, and not only can they go to Shoppers to get that medicine, they can also get prescriptions, and they can also be covered.
Okay.
A lot of these people are covering it now too. I think that's huge for Shoppers. I think that's where they're going to thrive. I don't know if they're going to be big flower sellers. What are they going to do? Have a whole thing? Come on over here, man. Check out this purple Kush. It's amazing. I don't see that part.
Time will tell. Time will tell. All right, Brandon, we're going to leave it there for now.